So I just watched Boxing Day on Showmax. It is a film by Black Brain, and I found it really, really interesting. And I think you should watch it too. Hello, how are you doing? I am Lungile. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. So this film touches on so many political and social issues, and that's why I think everybody must watch it for themselves and reach their own conclusions, feel their own feelings. Because when I was watching it, I certainly felt certain types of ways, and I reached my own conclusions about politics in South Africa and about just society as a whole. This film touches on so many political and social issues. For example, corrupt politicians. We got them aplenty, darling. Whites who do anything to hold on to the land, to keep the land to themselves. Racism, poverty, bad service delivery, the assumption that poor people are lazy and don't want to work. It touches on death, making deals with the Chinese for development purposes in the country, disregarding the communities where said development will be happening. My goodness, it touches on so many issues. So that's why I reached my own conclusions and I felt my type of ways. So yeah, watch it for yourself and yeah, see where it takes you feelings wise. So what is this film about? Of course there will be spoilers. How can I talk about a film, a movie, and not spoil it? I'm sorry, I apologize, but there will be spoilers. So our lead character is Nonebo. Her grandmother just recently died. They are poor and they got no money to bury grandma. So she and her brother decide to wrap grandmother's body up and take it to the mortuary. Now, along the way, they wrap the body up in sacks, carry it in their shoulders. I bet if anybody from clientele was watching this movie, they would have been like, this is why you need a funeral cover. But anyways, back to the movie. Carrying grandmother's corpse on their shoulders on a hot day in South Africa, and we know how hot South Africa can get, walking to the mortuary. I have never seen such a lack of community, such a lack of Ubuntu ever in my entire life. Nobody was willing to help them. Nobody helped them. Not the community, not the mortuary. I mean, the guy was not even willing to take payment from them in installment. Not the church, not the extended family. Nobody helped these siblings in their attempt to find a way to bury their grandmother. So anyways, they took the body home. So the next day is Christmas and Nongeba reports to work. She works at a game lodge, I think not far from where their informal settlement is. And her bosses have gathered like a group of Buramanse landowners have gathered because they are expecting the minister to come through. They are about to sign a multi-billion rand land deal. The minister comes through, and while Nongeba is cleaning their room, a kidnapping situation happens. Somebody comes through, kidnaps the minister, and it turns out it is Nongeba's little brother. Yeah, the one who was helping her cut the body up and down the township. So his plan is, these people are gonna give us the money to bury grandma. We need to bury grandma. He is a politician. He is loaded. Get us the money to bury grandma. And so when they realized that the minister is missing, they went looking for him. They even got a tracker, somebody who specializes in tracking people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the most offensive, most racist white person in a while on our TV screen. I'm telling you. So anyways, he has this an assistant, seemingly a very subservient person. I was just annoyed by how, yes, boss, he is like, couldn't take it because his boss was terrible to him, but he just seems to be like willing to please, and I hated that. So anyways, I don't want to give too much away of the film. Like I said, head on over to Showmax, watch it for yourself anytime you want to. But the minister was found. Was the deal signed? You had to watch the film to find out. And grandmother was buried. I was so worried that grandmother was gonna decompose and fall apart into tiny pieces. I mean, when they were cutting her up and down in the sun, and while they were busy kidnapping the minister, because their uncle, who was at home with the body, was using the ice on grandmother's body for his alcohol. That drunk uncle is a menace to society. The movie Boxing Day, pretty much, I think this movie is a comedy, but I think it's satire type of comedy. I stand corrected on that. I don't know much about the subgenres of comedy, but since it's a little bit of a satire, it presents the politician as the worst of the worst. All he cares about is himself. He even has a side piece. He was hoping that his wife would go away from this lodge, and his side piece would come and entertain him, I guess. Like, he cares zilch about the people. And as people at home in this country, that's what we think about our politicians. That's because what are they like? They're not serving us. They're not like doing what they stepped into office to do. So yeah, we need good and proper politicians that will put the people first. My next point is, what's in a funeral really? Like, oh my God, like they wanted to give grandmother a funeral. But like, Kandi, what is a funeral? Is it not like coming together as a society, as a community, as a family, and just putting your loved one in the ground, and if you're lucky you have a preacher and you say a prayer, I feel like all these funeral service provider adverts on our televisions and radios have really skewed our view of a funeral. We now want to give a dignified funeral. And what is dignity? Dignity is not fancy things. It's not a mandela. It's not catering, decorations. It's none of those things. Dignity comes in how the people carry themselves in whatever ceremony or activity they are doing. Okay, it's not in the flashy things that we are led to believe. Like, yeah, I mean, at some point I just wanted them to literally dig a hole, a deep one. Of course, this is a human being. Get that lazy pastor to come through. They put grandmother in the ground, they sing a song or two, and they pray, and that's it. Because the way it was going on, there was no dignity in keeping grandmother in ice in a tub in the camera. Like, there was, I don't like it. Guys, poverty hurts. I cannot envision a life where, like, I'm not rich, of course I'm not rich, but I can't envision a life where I don't even have money to bury a loved one to be. I mean, funerals are expensive anyways. Funerals are way too expensive. Like, put your loved one in there, say a prayer, go to Home Affairs and get a death certificate. It cannot be as complicated as we're making it nowadays. It just can't be. The last point that I want to talk about, highlighted by this movie, is the lack of community, the lack of Ubuntu. As South Africans, we pride ourselves in Ubuntu, that we will always be there for each other, always be there to take care of each other. Nobody was there for these two, Nangaba and her brother, when they were cutting the body up and down. And I refuse to believe that. Is society eventually going to get to how this movie portrayed society at the beginning, when nobody was helping these two with the funeral arrangements? Like, nobody cared. I kind of feel like society eventually will get to that. We are already very private with our families. We're already very much into minding our own businesses. We're already drawing, fences between us or ourselves, our families, and our neighbors. It's already just, even if you look around, chances are you and your neighbors, or you and the people in your neighborhood, are not as close-knit as you were when you were younger. And I pray to God we don't reach a point where nobody is willing to help, even if somebody has passed on in your family. That will be such a sad state for humanity. My last point is just to Black Brain. I love the work that they do. I'm a humongous fan of Deep City. I was so in love with Lockdown season 1 till 3. The other two, I must rewatch them again and draw some conclusions. But season 1 till 3, I love them. And once again, they did such a lovely job quality-wise. So they were able to produce a good quality of work in that sense. So, one last time, head on over to Showmax and watch this for yourself. And I'm wondering from your point of view, what conclusions you are going to draw from this movie. And thank you so much for watching my video until now. It's dark outside. I feel like it's the first time I'm making a video and it's dark outside. I don't like unnatural lighting on me, and I don't like the shadow. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.